Hey, Team Human. But I'm gonna start my videos off that way. I love the Team Human concept. It really inspires me. So I just had a great conversation with Ron, and a couple of concepts came up I wanted to share with you guys. I'm wearing my Martin Luther King T-shirt today. Boom. Uh, Playing like a leader. I dig it. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. I gotta definitely restore the integrity of my health. Anyway, what came up was seek to understand before being understood. We've heard it said to us a lot of ways. I think that came from I think it's a Maxwell book or something, or some book about 7 highly jobby 21 irrefutable laws of success. I think that was the. Don't know. I totally did it a disservice. But anyway, it came from a book. Not my original idea. But we've heard seek to understand before being understood. And I was sharing with him the idea of understanding people and how that's not the same thing as necessarily agreeing with them. And I realized in the past, growing up, I used to almost refuse to hear somebody out because in my mind came across as like agreeing with them, and then like my ego wouldn't want to do that. That's a whole nother conversation. We've talked about like the desire to always win and look good and all that. But anyway, so what I understand is there's value in just understanding somebody, but it doesn't mean I agree with them. It's like two distinct things. There's understanding and then there's agreeing. So understanding and making sure somebody understands that we understand them, that allows for communication. It allows for the person to experience being heard. And I find a lot of times people don't get their ideas expressed back and forth because we're not left with the feeling of being understood by that person. So, he had gotten into an argument with his folks, and we all do at times. You get into arguments, and I was like, all right, yeah, it really makes sense that we, instead of like sitting there and trying to like fight and be right about our points, it's just to stop and understand where the heck the person's coming from. Because if they're passionate about it, then obviously there's something to that. They must have some thoughts or some ideas or some concepts that have motivated them to say whatever it is that they're saying. So that's the first thing. Understand. It doesn't really mean we agree or disagree, but it just understand somebody. The other thing I'd come up was the idea of being comfortable with any communication. I had taken a communication course a while ago, and this was one of the things in that course, which was let's first of all identify the things that really we allow ourselves to get triggered by. And so for him, it's like if somebody calls him stupid, or if somebody says you're not going to succeed. It's a whole list of things, but I said, hey, dude, this is good. Take note of it so you now have an awareness of what would trigger you. And then it's an opportunity because you can, consider you can then become comfortable with hearing anything, because there's what people say and then there's what they communicate to us. But the idea is for us to be comfortable with any communication. Think about what that gives us access to. We have the ability to, everything is created in communication. Everything is created in what we say to people, our bodies, our words, and so on. So, and so I shared that concept with them, how practice that, because I found that growing up with me, there were certain things people would say to me, it would piss me off. And then I almost accepted it as that's the way it's always going to be. I hate it when somebody says that to me. A big one with me is if somebody calls me dumb or somebody says you're wrong, for years I'd be like, And I almost said, okay, let me just accept that that's the way it is. I said, you know what, screw that. Excuse my language. Let me train myself to be able to hear anything. So if somebody says you're wrong, I'm okay with that. And not to judge what they're saying as they're saying it, and to really be more of service as they're speaking, to again, understand what they're saying, seek to understand, have it be like when we converse, have it be like a gift we give to the other person across the table from us. And I'm committed to not really taking my time to do I like that? Do I not like that? Does that make sense? I don't know, and all that nonsense. So anyway, what I want to share is, let's keep track of the things that really annoy us, that get our hair standing up on our neck, the things that are said to us, both verbally and non-verbally. Because a lot of times it's not even what somebody says, it's what gets communicated. And usually what gets communicated is our own interpretation anyway. So it's self-imposed. The thing that ruffles our feathers, we're the ones that are creating it. As an example, somebody may say something and then we're thinking, oh, they think I'm stupid. They didn't even say that, but that's how I interpreted it, probably based on a previous experience with somebody. And then I blame them. But I'm the one that's interpreting what they said as being stupid. So really, my interpretation is causing me to get all annoyed. So anyhow, And this also is useful when you become a future CEO of a company or just a great leader, because you're going to hear from so many different people as your sphere of influence increases. You're going to interact with so many people, and they're going to bring things to your attention. They're going to critique, the businesses we create and the ideas that we have. And really, they just want to be heard. And so, developing the skill to be able to be comfortable with what anybody says to us allows us to lead the masses and allows us to be a better leader overall. So this is a great leadership skill in any arena. And this came up again in this course I took, and it was neat. I saw the immediate impact of how me and my mother communicated, because there are certain topics that were like off limits. But because I trained myself to be comfortable with any communication, it was amazing the things that she started to share with me and other people. That's another cool byproduct of value added of being comfortable with any communication, is that people start to open up to you more. And when people open up to you more, it gives you the ability to be of service to them and make a difference for them, because you can really get through the layers and get deep with that person. They're not thinking, oh, I worry that Joe's going to judge me. Instead, they're comfortable and they can come to you with things. And when things are said versus just being thought, then we could do some good work. Then things get done. You can impact your friends and your loved ones and all that. All right, so I took up too much time already. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the holiday season. Seek to understand before being understood. Know that understanding does not necessarily mean agree. And then really practice, take note of the things that really irk you. And let's get really comfortable with any communication so that we can, get deeper with the people that we love and the people around us. Later.